So I wanted to talk about my panic attacks when I was younger. Well, not that much younger. They started when I was 16. Wait, I was 15, I believe. It was February of 9th grade. And something just, occurred to me. Well, for one, okay, I had panic attacks for about a year and a half, and then they just went away. And I still get, I still have symptoms. Like, I can feel it coming, but then it just doesn't happen. It goes away. So I don't know if, I'm sure some of y'all have had panic attacks. Well, for me, I get this feeling, in my stomach, this, deep, nervous, I want to go jump off a cliff, kind of like I feel like I'm dangling off a cliff. It's this tingly, and it goes, it's not a good feeling. But that's how I know when it's, a panic kind of a feeling, as opposed to just anxiety. But, so I had them for a year and a half. They started when I was, in 9th grade. And then they stopped after a year and a half. My last symptoms was at Job Corps. It was the week before I came home. I started having this weird feeling. I was laying in bed. We were just about to turn the lights out to go to bed. And, my roommates. And, I was laying in bed, just laying there while my roommates were talking. And all of a sudden I had this feeling in my stomach. I was just like, oh, what is that? And then I realized all of a sudden it's a panic attack. And I stood up and I got really, really dizzy. And I just pushed myself against the dresser, and I'm just standing there. And my roommate's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I'm having a panic attack. And I'm leaning over the bed, and I'm just standing there. And I don't react like some people might. This is what the whole video idea, what I'm going to talk about. I cannot, it is physically impossible for me to show signs of a panic attack in front of another human being. I'm not kidding. The second another person enters the room, all of a sudden it's I'm not kidding. I could be having the worst panic attack of my life. Almost dying, passing out, kind of a feeling. I could be I have this look on my face like I have a headache or something. But that is the maximum that I can show. Now this was, see, at Job Corps it was a little different. I had gotten a lot more comfortable around my roommates, so I was showing some signs. But basically, what I do is I stiff up, and I just don't talk. Everything just feels kind of, I'm having all the signs, all the symptoms of pounding heart, breathing, shakiness, dizzy, blurred vision, all those different symptoms. But when the signs I did show in front of my roommates was just this, look on my face like this, my eyes got really big, and okay, the bed is in front of me, okay, the dresser is on my left, okay, and I'm leaning over, and I laid my upper body on the bed, and just left my feet on the floor. Well, they asked me if I wanted them to go get the RA. At first I was like, no, it's okay, and one of them got me a water bottle. They asked if I wanted water. I'm like, no, it's okay. I said yes to the water. No, it's okay, I don't want the RA. Well, after about a minute or so, they're like, do you want to get the RA? And at that point I said yes, because it started to get real bad. And at this point in time, I hadn't had a full-blown panic attack, not anything like this, for 2 years. So it was a shock. When you're used to having panic attacks regularly, they're not as much of a shock as when you haven't had one in a while. So it was just this overwhelming, whoa. But the RA comes in, right? And at the time, I think, okay, of course she's gonna have a legitimate concern, you know? She's gonna be concerned. I mean, this kid's having a panic attack, looking like they're about to pass out on the dang bed. So of course she's gonna be concerned. Okay. So she comes in and she just kind of stands there for a second. And she's like, Courtney, sit up. I'm just like, what is happening right now? Like, okay. I don't fully understand what's going on. Like, when I have a panic attack, everything's really blurry. Like, it's, someone say something and it's like this delayed response, like, huh? You know, like, because, you know, my brain gets all foggy and whatever. So, and even with that, I'm still shocked at her response. Like, she's like, sit up. You know, get up on the bed. She had me stand up. I'm like, I almost fell over. Okay. She has me sit up and sit on the bed. And I started, I was like leaning over like this. Like that. It was really, really weird. I was really out of it. She's like, sit up. Why are you leaning over? Okay. So I sit up and I look at her. And she's like moving. Like this. Back and forth. And I'm just like, look at her like. So, she's just like, why are you looking at me like that? Wait. What? Okay. So she takes me. She's like, come on, let's go to the office, the RA office. Okay. She's like, stand up. Okay. I'm dizzy, okay? So I'm walking like this, trying to balance myself. Okay, not that exaggerated, but I'm dizzy. I'm holding on to the wall. Like, I have my hand running down the wall to keep me from falling. She's walking way ahead of me. She sits me down, she gets me in the RA office, and she's like, sit down. She's like, what's the problem? I'm like, I'm having a panic attack. And she's like, no, you're not. She's like, I have medical training, and I've seen panic attacks. You're not having a panic attack. Okay, it went from panic attack to I am going to punch you in your face. Like, I wanted to punch that lady in the face. I'm not joking. Okay, forget that social anxiety disorder, man. Like, I'm just like, look, get up against the freaking wall. I'm gonna punch you in your face. Like, that's how I felt. Of course, I can express that. I almost did. Like, I almost yelled at her. But I was mad. Like, fuming. Like, oh, man. For someone to tell me I'm not having a panic attack, excuse me, are you in my body? No. See, what she thought by medical training? Okay. Job Corps. That's the medical training she had. It's not college and I got a degree in this. It's, I worked out of this workbook. That's what she was talking about. So that made me even more mad. Okay. So she has one of the directors come in and the director comes in and she's just like, what'd you need? I don't know, she's like, she brings a blood pressure cuff in. And she has this disgusted look on her face, like, do I really have to do this kind of look on her face, okay? And she says to the RA, she's like, were you busy? She's like, yeah. She's like, yeah, me too. I'm just like, is she serious? Really? She's doing this in front of me right now? Are you kidding? Like, no compassion whatsoever. Like, I had never pulled stunts or anything like that. If I was sick, it was legitimate. I mean, I had never, tried to get out of something by getting sick or something like that, faking sick. Now, I did have instances where I didn't feel good and I went to the clinic because I had a cold or, something like that, which I was under a lot of stress being there. And so I'm just thinking, why is she treating me like this? Like, what did I do to deserve this? And I guess she just was fed up because I wanted to leave, and which I had every right to. She didn't want me to leave, so it was just a little attitude she was cocking. So she takes my blood pressure, the director, and she's like, It is a little high, but you're fine. She's like, can you go back to your room now? You feel like you can go back to your room? I'm like, yeah. So I go back to my room. By that time, and okay, I also failed to mention this. When the RA walks in the room, okay, I'm not kidding, like, she walks in the room, and the symptoms drop down to, like, nothing. I'm just like I'm having almost a full-blown panic attack. Almost to the, okay, I don't know if you know how a panic attack goes. It's like a story, kind of. You know, you learned the story graph or whatever when you're little. It's like a mountain. Like you have, I don't remember what they call it when you're climbing it. Beginning resolution or beginning introduction or something. And that's climbing the mountain, and then climax. And then you're going down, and it's ending resolution. Or resolving resolution, or I don't remember exactly. That's how a panic attack works. So I'm almost to the height, the top of the mountain of the panic attack. She walks in and it's just like, boom, and it's gone. And I feel anxious. Like, I'm still feeling like I'm about to have one, but I'm not anywhere close to the climax part. I'm just like, how does that happen to me? Seriously? So that was part of why she didn't believe me. But for her to tell me, like, I even told her, I was like, I've been diagnosed by a psychologist. I have panic attacks. And she's like, no, you don't. Okay, excuse me, forgot you had a PhD. We're talking like she's been to high school, and I don't think she graduated high school. And she came to job for it. And all of a sudden she's a medical professional? I think not. Okay, the guy that diagnosed me that has a PhD is a whole lot smarter in that area than you are. You know what I mean? I don't know, but I was just thinking about that just a few minutes ago, and I just wanted to tell you guys, because I don't know, it kind of bothers me.